How are you? Okay, so what I'm going to do today is show you what I want your body to be doing on a regular basis. And if you're not doing this or you're not able to do what I'm about to show you, then this is something that you definitely want to work on. Now, make sure that you watch the entire video because I will be giving you tips at the very end of the video on how to make this movement happen. So you'll notice in a lot of cultures that, especially Indian, Asian cultures is what I notice the most, where you'll see that people can actually sit with their feet flat on the floor and they can literally crouch like this and be fine, and they don't fall back. In fact, you'll see a lot of them, which I can't do. They'll have their feet like really close together and they'll have their heels all the way down on the floor, and they can just sit like this, just like this for however long it takes, which is amazing, okay? And that is what we want. We want you to be able to sit in a crouched position where you can literally have both heels on the floor. Now, if you notice for me, my feet turn out. Now, the more I turn my feet out, the better I can sit, the more stable that I am. But what I want you to understand is that some people can't even do this. Some people cannot even, get in a squat position like this. Some people can't even really be right here, okay? And that's not good. We want you to be able to squat, okay? If you can't squat, you can't get up off the floor if you ever get on the floor. And it's important that you be able to get on the floor because I need you to be mobile. And if you're not mobile in life, then someday when you need to be mobile, maybe you fall. Perfect example. Today, I was walking outside with a client. She tripped and she fell right on the pavement. And I was in shock and she was in shock. And I've been working with her for 7 years. She was able to bounce right back up and she said, "I'm fine. I'm not hurt at all." And I was like, "Are you sure? Like, you hit hard. Are you sure you're not hurt?" And she said, "No, I'm literally fine." That's because we work together and we work out, and she's been able to be mobile. But when we first started, she fell and she could not get right back up. It was harder. So I want you to understand that falls happen in life, things happen in life, and you need to be prepared for these things. Now you can see I can sit with no problem as long as my feet are out. Now that is ankle dysfunction. And when you have ankle dysfunction, that makes dysfunction happen all the way up the gait. What's the gait? My entire body, starting from the ankles all the way up to the head. If you have ankle dysfunction, then it affects everything else on the body. So the goal is to get those feet facing forward. I can face them forward more, but it's harder for me and I fall backward. And this is something that I constantly do, work on with corrective exercise to try to fix any dysfunction that I have in the ankles, because when your ankles have dysfunction, then the rest of the body is going to have that dysfunction. There's a lot of things that play into this scenario. I do fully believe that God made different cultures differently. So you see the Asian cultures, you see the Indian culture, they're able to crouch with ease much of the time. And I won't say all of them, but a lot of them. And I do believe that there's something in their DNA that's just different. I believe every ethnic background has something amazing about them that the other one doesn't have, which is what's really cool and unique about all different beings, okay? But at the end of the day, we are still all built kind of the same in that we can get too acidic, which will stiffen us and tighten us up. We get malfunctioning in the body, which will tighten us up. There's all sorts of different reasons that, tightening can happen and malfunction can happen. So you want to get to the bottom of why it's happening. If you have tight hips, for instance, this exercise of just crouching and sitting with your butt almost to the ground, and you're literally crouching. It's a deep, almost seated squat. And you just sit here. Now at first for me, my shins were tight and it actually hurt my shins in the beginning. And I can feel a pull on my shins right now, but it's not so bad. Now if I stop crouching for weeks at a time, I will try to do it again and then I'll fall, okay? You gotta keep doing it. But what you'll notice is when you crouch, yeah, you can crouch like this, but look, my heels are off the ground and I don't want that. I want your heels to be touching the floor because that's what's gonna get you more ankle functionality, okay? Which is gonna give you the rest of the body functioning properly. On top of this, what this does is it opens up the hips. So believe it or not, it opens the hips. And yeah, you can go wider if you want to really get a more widened, open hip, and that's gonna feel amazing, by the way. It really does stretch and open the hips and feel good. But beyond that, when you have more flexible hips, it's gonna help everything else to be flexible as well. But again, the goal is going to be to get those feet facing as forward as possible, okay? You can see I'm a trainer and my ankles do not face perfectly forward, okay? But they're better than they were in the beginning. And if all you can do is just a couple of seconds every single day of literally crouching, heels to the ground, if you have to start off wide with feet facing out, then that's what you have to do. You start off with what you can do, okay? So if you stayed with me this long, here's the gems. So you can see I have a trusty old rolling pin. And I also have what's called a super band. Now, if you do fitness programs with me, this is going to be a must, but this is also a must. This is a freebie for you. So if you have tight ankles, which most of the world does, this is something that you can do to help loosen up the ankles. And this is why I wanted you to stay till the very end. We get tight through the shins, like, oh, I'm sore through my shins. I do a lot of walking, so obviously this gets pretty sore. I also want you to go all around these muscles in the back. These are your calf muscles. There's 3 different muscles back there. And you want to get each muscle to loosen up. And what I want is to just go around just like this, back and forth. And then right here, there's muscle next to this. You've got the bone here. There's muscle right here. And you really want to work that. Now, obviously, you don't want to hurt yourself, but you want to kind of knead the dough a little bit to where it's not so tight. Because when these muscles are super tight, that's when your ankles are going to be unable to do their job. And your feet won't be able to face forward, whether you're squatting, sitting, even walking. If you really look at people now, I have a trained eye because of what I do, both in detox and in fitness. I look at people's bodies all the time, not to stare at them, but to study. I just notice things. It's just automatic. I'm also a nail technician, so I notice hands and feet. Now, ultimately, I notice that people will walk, you'll see people walk like this, you know, their feet facing out. And that's because there's dysfunction in the hips, there's dysfunction in the ankles. So this is gonna help. Anytime there's dysfunction in the hip, it starts in your ankles. So really getting these gastrocnemius muscles, that's what these are called, gastrocnemius, loosened is going to help you to be able to do your deep squat. And if you can do this deep squat every single day for at least a couple of minutes, and I don't care, again, if your feet are facing out, fine, fine. Eventually, your feet will be facing perfectly forward and you'll be able to put the heels on the floor like this. They're not perfectly forward, but almost. You'll be able to do this and you'll be able to do it with ease and you won't fall back. I still fall back a little bit. I also haven't been really practicing it enough. Now, what's the super band for? The super band is going to be for an exercise that you can do to help strengthen this muscle right here. This muscle is extremely important, but it's going to strengthen the ankle. You're going to wrap this, and this is included in my fitness programs. You're going to wrap this around the top of your foot where that joint is. And you're going to connect this to something, okay? It has to be connected to something strong. And I don't, just for the video purposes, I'm not gonna do that. From there, you're gonna put this hand against this knee. This hand comes back here. And I'm going to literally go in and out, 2, 3. In and out, 2, 3. I'm pushing against the knee, and in pushing against the knee, it causes resistance. It's going to cause my glute medius, which is the side of the glute. That's your side glute muscle, okay? It's gonna cause that to activate as you press against this inner knee. And as you're doing this, you're both strengthening your glute medius and all the muscles in the shin and the ankle. So this is strengthening these muscles so that you can have better mobility, better agility, and you're going to be able to see yourself be able to do the deeper squats. It's going to help your entire gait. All of your alignment will over time align better. So really, you guys, you cannot go wrong with doing functional movement, functional exercise. And it's crazy, but something as simple as just doing a deep squat once a day can really change your life. If you like this video, share it, comment, send it to your friends, send it to people that you know are struggling with this type of thing, because it's extremely important. And people don't realize how much you really need to be able to be mobile. You know, I've worked with people as old as 90, and you want them to be up and mobile. I don't want you to be in your 40s, 50s, 60s and above, not able to get on the floor. I can't tell you how many people cannot get on the floor with their children or their grandchildren because they're immobile, because their ankles are too tight, their body's too acidic, and they're out of shape. So this is a simple thing that you can do every day to try to get more mobile and keep yourself more agile so that as you age, you'll see better results and you can really prevent yourself from, if you fall, you'll hurt yourself. Now you do need to work out in order to really see the effects of that truly happen. I want you to be strength training, walking. These are all extremely important. But what I just showed you today can really change your life, because if you cannot get up and off that floor, that's a big deal. You've got to be able to get off the floor. My website's down below. I've got plenty of programs designed to help you both detoxify and get fit. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.